Arizona. I'm doing some holiday travel, see family members, and Kingman is a big stop along Interstate 40, and along behind that has had a great history as being part of US 66, Route 66, and then well before that, all the way back to what was known as the Beale Wagon Road, east-west route, traveling California to Arizona. And it is at the, there's a tourist center set up in the original powerhouse, one of the first electricity generating stations in the western United States. And it is still very important as a in the connection of electricity, as this is where pretty much every Tesla traveling east to west along I-40 has to charge up to very close to their maximum extent. So there's a whole row of Teslas here charging away, including mine, because east from here it's a long stretch until the next supercharger, which is in Flagstaff, and which gains about at least a mile of elevation from here, and is also much colder, which it takes electricity both for the batteries and for heating the car. But as I said, another big thing about this Kingman has always been a major stop along the Santa Fe rail line, the Southern Transcontinental Railroad, and another feature of the stop here is this steam engine. So among places to stop traveling east to west on I-40, Kingman's a pretty cool one. And so I thought I would make this, since I had to be here anyhow, through here for about an hour of charging, to make this the location of the first of what I hope to be a new set of member-focused live streams. And it took me a while to think about what I would do with them. So the main thing I've decided I would do is use this to look at the comments that members, and only members, have made on various videos and talk about them. So a way of increasing engagement with the members of the Raise Guide community. Hopefully in the process, giving people more reason to continue their membership and or to become members. This is amazing steam engines. I find steam engines fascinating. One of my very first favorite computer games was Railroad Tycoon. And this engine, the 484 Pacific Baldwin, was a big feature of Railroad Tycoon 2 and 1 and even 3. And Railroad Tycoon has influenced how I go about playing Star Citizen. Also, you talk about steam engines, and that carries with it the whole ethos of steampunk, and whether and the genre, I guess you would call it steampunk within science fiction, and whether or not you can. What does it take if you wanted to mix steampunk aesthetic with another science fiction aesthetic in the same world, like Star Citizen? And it's a difficult thing to do, because steam became obsolete for a reason. And the main part of the reason why steam became obsolete wasn't that it wasn't fast. It wasn't even that it wasn't necessarily efficient, but it required you to stop very often for water. And it was also comparatively inefficient because of one simple thing, compared to the diesel electric iron horses that you, if we're lucky or unlucky, we'll see go right by us on the tracks there. And that is the same thing that makes those Teslas charging across the street highly efficient. Regenerative braking. That it recovers the energy as it's going downhill that it needs when it's going uphill. Obviously, a steam engine can't do that. And so things become obsolete for a reason. And so if you're going to have, trying to mix, say, steampunk with other science fiction, you have to cook up some way that one world or one culture has been isolated, so that not only that they never developed beyond steam technology, but that now that they are mixed, they just don't borrow it and use it, which is what pretty much every culture that gets a chance to mix the higher technology inevitably wants to do. It's why in the Star Citizen verse, you have the various alien cultures we get connected to get and share technology. It's why you have ships like the Sulin and the Raylan and MISC taking Xeon technology. It's all that any intelligent race, when you connect it to another intelligent race, will see the benefits of what's better, whether that's better culturally or better technologically. It's in the nature, I don't think just of humans, but of intelligent species in general, to be able to recognize and take advantage of that which is new and better. So I'm trying to somehow tie in this steam engine into Star Citizen, since I just want to enjoy it anyhow. But let's talk about, I printed out here the recent comments from various members to recent videos that I've done. Arrow Yuki 8836 asked why the Razor series wasn't in the list of starter ships. That was simply because of price. I feel strongly that we should not be suggesting to new users, no matter how good the ship is, that they should be spending beyond the very low end of 3 figures on a ship, even at the maximum end. That gives us in Star Citizen a bad reputation that we are, that you have to spend a ton of money to play this game. Well, we know you don't actually, or that the game was played to win, which we know isn't true either, because what is winning in Star Citizen is a matter of your own choice. Let's see, there's something else here. Excuse me, I hope that doesn't make too many of you see it. Boo Boo said that the changes in 3.22, he likes them, that salvaging has become better, which it truly is. And it's an interesting question that now that something like the Reclaimer has this huge storage buffer, whether the position of Loadmaster on a Reclaimer is still necessary. And I would venture to say that it's still as essential as I said it was before. You can do without it, but when you really get into doing a Reclaimer for as much as you want it to do, being able to salvage parts and components and hull metal and construction materials, which I still believe will wind up being eventually being with their original goal being done as refinable scrap that when we get user-defined, user-controlled refining, we will probably also get salvaging, returning scrap, which is a lot more sensible than it returning construction materials. And I think construction materials is just in there as a placeholder. And so when you got all these different kinds of scrap, you're going to want to have someone that keeps it straight in terms of what's going where and what is tradable where. So if the next place we're going is going to a place we can sell the weapons and components, that your loadmaster is already positioning those so that they come off the ship in an orderly way. So I believe the loadmaster is still going to be a very valuable thing. And another comment that was extensive was on the video on the base building core issues. And it is from Jornada 76, a longtime member of the channel. And he got quite into detail with each of the items. And so I'm hoping that by having these response videos, that more of my members will be digging into and giving better comments, because you guys are deep into this game and understand it like for the same reason I do, because I've been doing it for so long. Anyhow, Jornada 76, 2 weeks ago, talking about the base building. He got into each point individually. First, CIG has repetitively removed features that were advertised: PvP slider, running your own server, modability of the game, etc. All were confirmed features when I backed the project in early 2013, and they have introduced features that they said they were not, like food and drink. In short, CIG will do whatever they want to do, regardless of promises made, which is kind of true. But the point I was making in that first base building video, and I'm going to have more of those coming out, touching more of the points that I made in that original base building video, was that when they've sold something specific, like a hangar or a geotag that lets you claim a specific plot of land, those are not simply features. Those are cases where they have actually sold you something specific. And that takes on an additional moral responsibility beyond simply saying, these are the features that we hope to have in the game. And so that's why I was saying that when it came to the geotag, the two different sizes of plots, and the size, the shape, nature of those plots, that they, as much as possible, have to represent it in the particular case where they have sold not just about the concept of features that they may want to have, but sold a specific item, a specific ship, a specific element, a specific gameplay. Number two, I do not think that you should be able to respawn at a base, nor should you have access, not have market access. I wouldn't want to have market access at a user-based EDOP, but when I get into it later, and I've got that planned in a video, we're going to be able to get something kind of like it. You will be able to set up your own markets, just like you'll be able to, I hope you'll be able to set up your own markets, just like you can on a BMM or on a Kraken Privateer. So if you've got your own market that you're building, you should be able to do that at a user-constructed base. I'm also, what I'm going to be suggesting will be kind of the equivalent of ordering Uber Eats to your home. So that's what I'm expecting to hopefully be able to do at bases. You should be able to have specific pros and cons so they complement each other. That is absolutely true. Third item, actually jumped all the way to 4. How would you do this in terms of being, and this is a big problem that I'm going to be talking about, and this is how do you protect people's bases when they're not logged in, or when they are simply at a point where you've attacked me 10 times in the last 10 days. I just need a breather. How do you go about giving people time between one attack and another to catch their breath and actually be able to repair their bases? And so that's something I'm going to be getting into in the next video I do in this base building series, which is going to be on attack and defense. I deliberately put those off until after the holidays, but I've got several videos scripted in my head. That's the first step. You think of the script, and then you write it down, and then you voice it, then you edit it. It's a lot of work to put these things out. At 5, I think it is vitally important that players and orgs can build everything in game. Now, here I disagree. It makes no sense that you can actually build everything. I mean, an ordinary person even today, an ordinary person, even with an example here in the park and all the blueprints and all the history, if you wanted to build your own, Baldwin locomotive, you're not going to be able to do that in your house. You're not going to be able to do that in your base. You're not going to be able to do that at your farm. This is a specialized piece of equipment that requires very specialized construction, very specialized knowledge, and that's not going to go away. Even one of those, you're not going to be able to build it yourself. It takes a very specialized set of manufacturing knowledge and skills. It's someone said that we've lost the ability to build the Saturn V rocket, and it isn't because we've lost the knowledge. In fact, the plans for the Saturn V rocket are available in the public domain. You can buy, or just with a simple Freedom of Information Act request, receive the plans for a Saturn V rocket. But that doesn't mean you're going to be able to build it. That doesn't even mean that the United States government, their NASA, couldn't build it, because the construction methods are either the machinery, the tooling, etc., doesn't exist, or if it did exist, it's obsolete, and you wouldn't want to do it that way again anyhow. So the notion that you could build your own, at your base, that you could build your own very large and very complex multi-user ship just defies logic, and it defies rationality, and it defies the genre of the world. We have these, industrial planets like, Hurston and ArcCorp completely covered. Why would that be necessary if you've got this, little ship that you can go and put in the right, knowledge, and poppity pop, out comes an entire hammerhead? Why would Aegis exist as a company in the verse if everything they build and sell you can just pop out of your own toaster oven of sorts? And if it was so easy to build, fancy, shiny new things, like out of a Star Trek replicator, why are there's so many poor and small places in the verse? Why is Pyro the way that it is? From one solar storm to another, you just have your reclaimer come around, not your reclaimer, your pioneer come around from the back of the dark side of the planet, and boom, there you build yourself a new base in a few minutes. The verse is a place where things take time, and money is important, and resources are important, and things don't magically appear out of your Star Trek replicator. And that's some genres, some science fiction settings start along a given path, and it once you start behaving logically, it affects everything about them. That's why Star Wars is actually different than Star Trek. Star Trek went down this route for the convenience of a television show. they went and made this thing called a transporter, and the transporter turned into a replicator because obviously it could, and that becomes yet another thing. And so you got this squeaky clean kind of anything can be just created and popped out. Meanwhile, Star Wars, because they didn't have to have the quick convenience of running a television show, went and could make a world that's much more like the Star Citizen verse, where the resource constraints and money constraints and location constraints can still mean things. And so we need to keep the verse true to itself, and that means not turning it into space magic replicators that can build any ship you want. I mean, sure, be convenient and fun, but it really, is terrible retcon in terms of the kind of verse that the verse is. And so some things you need to keep scarce and keep important. And I think I'll wrap up on this thought here. And you need to keep it where. One last thing, since I'm here in Kingman, need to keep it a place where travel times and needing to plan stops and needing to plan refueling, recharging, needing to plan your own recharging. My plan is to go over there to Mr. D's. They serve nice, greasy diner food. I'm going to have my own dinner there. And I hope this is going to evolve into we'll get a better handle on what the format is over time. But I want to have a format where the members, specifically the members, can feel like what they say and what they comment gets extra attention to give a way of having the members join and continue their memberships. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond with Ray's Guide.